Come on. We want to be live. What is it doing? Okay, we'll have to give it a couple minutes here to get everybody back on. I lost connection for some reason. Par for the course, I guess. Let's see, I don't see that there's a whole lot back on yet. Let's give it a minute or so, because that really gets hard. Okay, we seem to be back. Yep, hopefully we're back. We'll give it a couple seconds here. So we were talking about we can highlight too, so I'm taking a new brush, but we only got 6 people on, so let's give it a little bit for everybody to get back in here. So again, I'm using the plane going by, well, I don't know, something. I have the Krylon Workable Fixative, that's for, prevents your chalk, your pastels from smudging, so that's what I like to use. You can also use, if you're in a pinch, the matte aerosol sealer will work. You want to spray that very lightly. And then the chalk that I'm using, this is the Faber-Castell 72, and you can see it says soft pastels. So when you're buying these, you want to make sure you're not getting the soft oil pastels. You want what is called soft pastels. I don't know that it says chalk on here anywheres. But what you want is the soft pastels, which is chalk. You don't want the soft oil pastels. That would be for oil painting. So this is, you want soft pastels that are chalk. And these come in longer pieces or shorter pieces, but these short ones, you'll probably never use them up in your lifetime unless you got a business or something and you're really using them. All right, so we got a few back on here. Let's go to our white now. And I just want to show you that you can also highlight this with the white to soften it a little bit. You can soften it just a little bit. Let's spray it first. It's not making too much of a difference. All right, so I'm going to just give a couple of flybys here, and that's it. All right, I'm going to come back to the white so I can maybe highlight that a little. That takes a little more doing, I guess you could say. We'll soften it up just a little bit, these top ones. So I just scrub on the chalk, bring it to the page, the piece. Just rub it on there. We're just going to dust our crumbs off. All right, so then the centers I did with a bright green. So this is kind of a lime green that's over here. Real lime green, both of these up. Just kind of burnish it down or rub it down or scrub it down. And you don't want to like brush on that because that's going to stick then. So you want to blow that off. So I'm going to blow it off. So it's a nice soft, kind of a transparent look to it. All right, so we're going to put a little bit of yellow on there too, because those poinsettias always seem to have a little bit of yellow in them. And again, I don't want to try to brush it, I want to blow it off. So there's our yellow. And so now I can, like I'll brush it towards the, if there's some left on there, I'll brush it towards the center. All right, so let's spray it again. And we're just going to, again, this is the workable fixative. And I'm just going to really lightly on the center of the green one, or the center of the pink one, and now we'll do the whole purple one because we kind of did the whole thing there. All right. So now, like I have a lot of pink over that one, so we'd have to cover that up. So let's go over here to this one. We don't have a whole lot to cover up. So I'm just going back to my white, and I just want to cover this up so it looks, when we go to the blue, like it's not, I mean, if you wanted a purplish blue, it would be okay. You could go right to the blue, but I just like to touch it up and have that nice pure white there. And that's just the Dunkin' acrylic white. And then I do have the little areas marked off that are green, so I'll probably do all of those last. I did those up there so just so you guys could see them because they're up on top. And you know, just like anything, there's more than one way to do anything, and this is just the way I do it. So hopefully it'll be helpful for you guys. If you want them lighter, like you probably would just, these are a little bit, these are probably in between. What I did was a lot lighter, like I only did like one layer and then one layer of shading in the stem. So they are, the first one was a lot lighter. This one's got a little more color to it. I wanted it a little different, just to show you that you can build up the colors so that they're not too soft looking. All right, so let's let that dry. Let me see, Brenda makes everything, oh, Penny. All right, so let's wash out our brush. Lay that aside. All right, I like to put blue next to purple for some reason, so let's go to our blue one. Oh, let me see, can I tell which blue I used? I think I used like this, kind of this bright blue. Let's go to this blue. Just another flat brush, nothing too fancy. And I'm gonna put a little layer on here again. That'll just help hopefully that it goes on even, because it got a little blotchy up there. So this one here was dry over here, I think. So if you want it lighter, just you can go with a lighter color, or you can put less on. Say you don't want the whole leaf. You want the center kind of white, so we can do that too. Like you can change it up however you want. So we can just do the outside of the leaves and let the center more white, or you could have it white on the edge and dark on the outside. So this one will make lighter in the middle. So we'll just put our color on the outside here. You guys. That's what 40 years of doing this does. Although I haven't chalked all that much, honestly. So we're going to kind of let our leaves white in the center just to show you can do them all different. I really like the poinsettia tree. I'm glad they came out with it. So now I'm kind of brushing from the outside in so that I have more color on the outside and less as it's coming in, so it's got a nice, like right here there's kind of a line. Like I really don't want a line, so I want to soften that. So I'm going from the outside in to kind of soften that line. See how that line kind of goes away now? I do want it darker down there though because it's overlapped. Same with over here, I kind of got a line. So I'm going to go from my outside in just to soften that a little bit. All right, let's, on that one we're going to make green. So again, I'm just going along the edge. It's kind of one of my favorite blue colors, this bright blue. So you can change it up however you want. Like you don't have to have the whole petal doesn't have to be solid color with the chalk. You can leave some of it white, or you can put in a different color. I think we'll make that one green too. It's nice to have the green in there. It kind of makes your colors pop out more. So get around the edge of all these guys. I mean, there's tons of different poinsettia colors, so like you can just go look online too if you don't have ideas what colors you want them to be. I did put, after I sealed it, so when I'm all done with the chalk, I take the matte aerosol sealer and seal it. Like you put your normal good layer of sealer on there. And then I took, trying to think what I all took. The one side I put snow and glitter on. And then the other side I just put a little bit of glitter on. So you can do different things too as far as snow and no snow or whatever. All right, so I want to soften some of these up here a little bit. Actually, I think I want my blue to come all the way in, just a little bit lighter maybe. I kind of like that blue down in that center there. But we'll go a lot lighter on the center. But you could let them white if you wanted, but I kind of like it better with color on it. Just less color. That one we're going to do green. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions at all? Anybody? You guys can post questions. That's what I'm here for. So I kind of like more color. I must be into more color today because I was going to leave it white, but I kind of like it with more color. So, like, you can change your mind in the middle of it. Whatever you want to do. There's no set rule and anything has to be anyway. If you're not feeling that white when you're doing it, then do it in whatever you want to do it. All right, let's go to our green here. That's that lime green again, and I'm going to put that in there. And a little bit of our yellow. All right, so I'm going to blow it off again. Do a little spray with our workable fixative. Let's move our chalk out of the way. This one's going to be green, so I haven't done anything with those. Just really, really light. You don't want a lot. Just enough that you can keep laying the color down. How can you tell what is color and what is leaf? You can't. You can look at the Clay Magic picture. So what I did was, like, there's the 5 here, and then there's a second layer. And so this one's kind of looks like it could be a leaf. It's kind of an extra one. This is kind of an extra one. This is kind of down in there, so to me he's extra. Same with that one. Now this one you have your 5 again, and then you got your 5 here, so that kind of makes him extra. Over here you got your 5. Let me make sure I'm on the screen. Here you got your 5, and then you got this really, this could go either way. It could be that, it's definitely to this flower because it goes, the stem is deeper here. But I want green like kind of all over it equally, so that's when I started. I put my little green. I just picked out leaves that I wanted green. Like those are down under, so I figured that's green. I wanted one behind those, and so it's there. It's just so that there's like not all green over here and no green over here. Like I just got it kind of equally green. Is this the Clay Magic tree? Yes, it's the small one. It comes in different sizes. This is the small one. All right, so let's work on a little bit of green. And again, I just used a really dark green. I think I used this one over here. You could use lighter ones too if you wanted. I kind of using darker just because I got dark, more rich colors here today. So I'm just gonna kind of put that green in there, and you wouldn't have to do green. Like you could have made this purple. You could make that blue, but I really like a little bit of green with the colors because it just makes the colors stand out more, I think. But that's just my 2 cents worth. So we'll do this one here. So we're just gonna keep rubbing it in, like just grab some and rub it down. So when I'm looking at this guy now, like these 2 leaves are over the top of this one, so I do want it darker where they meet. So I'm going to put another, get that over there, another layer in there. And then I like it darker in the stem part. And I can kind of see white right there yet, so I want to get that green up in there. All right. So that's how I would keep going with my colors. You just keep doing a layer, spray your fixative, do a layer, spray your fixative, blow the dust, blow the dust off in between always. And you can come back and say you're looking at this, and now I can see the pink coming through my green. So I'm just going to add some more green here. This looks like it needs to be a little darker because it's down in there. I can see some white over here, so I'm going to get that in there. Same with this guy. He's pretty light yet. Okay. So we'll blow your dust off. Give it a little spray here again. Let me see. Is there a difference between the chalk you're using now and pan pastels? There's a major difference. You probably only need one layer of the pan pastels, and you're probably going to want to use like nylon brushes or Taklon brushes. You don't need the stiff bristle. You don't need the dry brushes. Like I use the dry brushes for these, but for the Taklon or the pan pastel, I just use the nylon brushes because it's a lot more powdery with a lot more pigment in it. But this is just to show you that you can get the same result with a cheaper brand, you know, like the mid price range. I call these the mid price range because they are cheaper and the pan pastels are more expensive. But they're all going to work. Some are just going to work easier than others and take more layers than others. That's really the biggest thing. So you can use whatever you want, you know, whatever brand of chalk. Just make sure that they're soft pastels, not sidewalk chalk or nothing like that. Like soft pastels, and not the soft oil pastels. Like, be careful with that because those are for oil painting pictures. You don't want those. And if you like the pan pastels and want to order them and can afford them, like that's great too. Like, I'm not saying that they're not good or anything. Like, those are wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And if you can get them and afford them, like, that's great. But some people are on budgets, and the reality is that, you know, we all can't afford pan pastels. And other things work just like anything else. Like, different acrylics work. You know, you can go to the box stores and buy those 67-cent bottles of acrylics, and they're going to work. It may take more work and frustration on your part, but if you buy the Dunkin' and the Mako, they're going to work better, and you're going to have less frustration in the end and less work. So stuff works. Like, it's just like driving a Cadillac or a Chevy Cruze. Like, one is the Cadillac of the vehicles with all the bells and the whistles, and one is get you to work and get you home. That's about how I can explain it, where it's understandable, I guess. You know, it's great to have the Cadillac, but if you can't afford that and you need to have a car to get to work, like, you're going to get what you can get and afford. And so this is kind of the same thing. Like, this product works great. The other brands of soft pastels work. Some take more work than others, and some don't, but then they cost a lot more. So it's kind of what you can afford. So that's kind of the gist of putting the pastels down. Like, I'm going to see if I can highlight my white here a little bit. That really wasn't working as much as I wanted. So I'm going to go back into my white here and see if I can get this lighter. And if you wanted it lighter, and like, that's really not working the way I want it to work. So after I put a little of my pan pastels on there, don't be afraid to dry brush over the top too, like, to get lighter. So for instance, for this one, say I wanted it lighter now in a few areas, I would take my dry brush, brush that out. You don't want to seal it. You only want to do your fixative a little bit. Because if you seal it, it's going to be a lot harder. So now what you can do is take, say I wanted this a lot lighter here in the center of my blue. You can take and dry brush that to get that result easier, I think, than the white. Now, if you have the pan pastels, you can definitely do this part with the pan pastels. It's going to work a lot better. But if you don't, you can just dry brush it a little bit. And so we can still get our centers lighter. It just takes a little dry brushing. So don't be afraid to dry brush over your pastels either. So we'll just do some dry brushing on this one, just to show you can dry brush over it too. And I just put just a little bit of fixative on it. And so I just wanted the centers a little bit lighter on here. What is the spray? Sorry, I'm late. Yep, I'll show you guys the spray again when we're done. I'll show you the spray and the chalks. But right now we're doing a little dry brushing. Like, you can dry brush over that. Don't be afraid to dry brush. You can dry brush over it to lighten it if you want to too, if you're having trouble with the chalk. You can see it's this half is lighter in the center now than the other half, and I'm just dry brushing it. That's all I'm doing. Or say I wanted, I think on the other one I did white on the tips of the pink. Like, you can come around the pink and dry brush white or whatever color. Say you wanted red or something. you could do that too, or so like you can dry brush over that, as long as you don't like completely seal it. That would make it harder. But you can see that kind of gives it a whole nother look too. You can really soften it up if you get it too colorful. So don't be afraid to dry brush over them too, but you definitely want to use that fixative or the matte first, because if you don't, it's going to just smear and you're going to have a mess. But you can see I toned my blue right down just by dry brushing over it a little bit. I'm kind of just going in the center areas mostly. Now I left it darker here because this is overlapping that, and so we do want that to be darker wherever there's overlaps. But now my blue is a lot softer looking. So just in case you get it too dark, like you can lighten it up. You can try the white. I don't have a lot of luck with the white, but there we go. And then when I'd be all done, then I would just seal the whole thing with my matte sealer. I usually use the aerosol. You know, a couple good coats. You spray it really good. But when you're doing the in-between part, you don't spray it so heavy. I'll say maybe I got too much white on here. You can just go back to the blue. Oh, where's my blue? Right there. Say I wanted the tips a little bit bluer. We can come back and put a little bit of blue back on our tips. Like, it's pretty forgiving, you guys. Don't be afraid of it. Like, just give it a try. So see, you can come back and add a little bit more to the tips if you got it too light as well. Or put your shading in a little bit. If it's too white, just go back and add a little touch of blue to it. Like, you can just change it up quite a bit. So that looks pretty good. So I would just keep going now with the, I always see the fixative spray. You know how to use it. Good. So now, like, I would, this guy could be green. He could be pink. So I probably would make this one pink, because he's kind of underneath there. So I'd probably make that one pink yet. So this one's got a lot of pink on it. I would just come back with our white again. My brush fell on the floor. So I would paint this guy white again and do him, I don't know, whatever color you want to do him, whatever. There's peach ones. You could do another shade of pink. We could do a red one. The red is close to the pink. We'll just start with the red a little bit just to show you. So now my blue got into my red. So you might want to blow that off every once in a while so you can get the, like, I didn't want purple because it was in my red. So I'm just going to come to the red. So now the pink and red are kind of close in color. So you wouldn't have to paint that over. You could just come with the red, and it's just going to make it darker down in those crevices. It's just like where like purple is completely different from pink, and the blue is different from the pink. The red's kind of close to the pink. It's really hard to get a really, really deep red, even in the pan pastels. Because even though it's like red, it's kind of still transparent. And that took a couple layers, maybe like 3 layers of the red it'll take to get the red. But you can see you can get like a transparent red, and it looks like a cherry red kind of in the box here. But it's pretty fast. We've only been at it like an hour and lost connection. Like, I'm talking and telling you guys things. So this guy's underneath this one, so I'd probably make this one red too. And then this guy is over here. That could be a leaf or it could be red. I'd probably make it red because we already got green over here. Like, you don't want a whole lot of green. The color, the poinsettias are usually, like, that whole top is whatever the color is. There's not a whole lot of green. So I'd make that one red, I'd make this red, I'd make this red, and you can like do this, just put, now I know where all my red needs to go, so I can come and just build up my red. Like I'm just swiping on the red, coming over here and scrubbing it in, rubbing it in, just doing circles. And so I'd probably do like 3 layers of this red so it gets nice and deep, like our other colors are pretty deep colors, versus the other one is more pastel. If you want it more layers of color. So we'll just with 1 layer, and the product again, and then we'll probably call it a good, because it's been an hour and a half, so that's a good class. Now it went again. Oh. Yeah, because the signal just like flipped out here again, so I think we'll quit here in a minute. Alright, so we're just, like, I would just get this one all red. You can do them whatever colors you want. I'm just using dry brushes. For this brand, if I was using the pan pastels, I'd use a gold Taklon or a nylon. You want to blow your dust off. This is the brand of soft pastels I'm using, the Faber-Castell, the set of 72. They do come in smaller packs. I use the workable fixative to like set the color, like it just prevents your smudging. So hopefully you guys can see that. If you don't have this, you can use like a matte aerosol sealer, but only 1-2 sprays. So you're just setting the chalk and not like really sealing it. When I'm all done, I do take my matte aerosol sealer and like really spray it good. You don't want it to run, but you want a good layer of sealer on there. I did just use dry brushes. That I just have a whole set of dry brushes. And if one's got green in it, I use it in green. If one has red, you can wash these out and use them, I suppose, with your acrylics if you don't have other brushes, but wash them out really good and let them dry. I just keep a set separate on the cart at the shop with the pastels, and I generally don't wash them out. If you're using the pan pastels, you're probably going to want more of a nylon gold Taklon, because it is a lot powdery, more powder to it and more pigment to it. But that's all there is to it, you guys. So I would say give it a try. If nothing else, and you hate it, like spray a little fixative over it and just paint it all black and dry brush. You can do that if that's, or just keep trying it until you get it. Like it's just like riding bike. Like you fall off a few times and you get back on and you keep drying it until you get it. And that's really all it is. You kind of want to do extra layers where you want shading to be, where stuff is overlapping and down in crevices, just like when we're dry brushing. So I guess that's about it. This is the small poinsettia tree. He'll be on brendasbrushstrokesandbisque.com. There's other stuff on there too. So practice makes perfect. Yep, that's pretty much all it is. So I hope you guys enjoyed our little quick chalk class. Use whatever brand you have. Like, it's probably going to work. It may take a little more work or a little less work depending upon the brand you have. The fixative is really a big part of it, because you can see you can put just a light layer of that and it kind of fixes the chalk so that you can add more layers to it. So that's pretty much it. If someone has a question, you guys can always message me and send a picture, and I'll do what I can to help you. But other than that, we have another class like in 3 weeks. It's pretty soon. I think it's before Thanksgiving, so I'm not sure what that class will be yet either. This one I wasn't sure either, but you guys did a lot of commenting on that picture, so I thought it was a perfect project to do. Once this is finished, I will post a picture of it. The base, I just painted it silver with the silver from Silver Metallic from Duncan. That's all I did with the base. This one I may not do a base with. But once it's finished, I'll post a picture, but it probably won't be for at least a week unless I have time tomorrow during class, shop hours, because I have a lot of shipping to do for the live sale, and then for our Bisque box subscribers, their December or November box is going out. So I think that's about it, you guys. So if you have any questions, message me and we'll take care of you. All right, thanks for joining me. I hope you guys love the class. Bye-bye, everyone.